Hey, this is Corey from Fuel Your Photos, and today I'll be reviewing Dulce Ruiz photography. And I'm going to start just like I always do with my first impressions. So, the first question is, what is this website about? Of course, photography in the name helps me realize that it's a photography site. Your Story Unscripted. So, a photographer who is telling stories, unscripted stories. You can kind of read on here. This is a little bit hard to read, by the way. It's a little bit distracting with the clothes behind it. Lifestyle and wedding photographer in Fort Myers, available for travel throughout Southwest and Central Florida. So this helps me understand it's a photography site, and it's a lifestyle and wedding photographer, and they are in Florida. So that's kind of the next question: what service is offered and where? And one thing that just to note here is that like this one image tells me family photography, children, parents. I don't see anything about weddings, but then we scroll down here, by the way, we also see family, senior, engagement, wedding. So we see a lot of different things, but right now we only see one image. So far on the page, all we know is that, all we can be sure of is that they're a family photographer. Let's go ahead and move to what do I want to do next. I already scrolled a little bit and noticed that this is just empty. There's nothing here. I would get rid of this section completely if there's not going to be anything here. Maybe have this footer still, but this might be a good place to start adding a little bit more to this page. Okay, so besides scrolling down and wanting to see more, what's the next thing that I want to do? I guess I'll just kind of go along the menu. I would probably click here on featured work to see more work. Okay, so it looks like on the featured work, so there's a lot here at the top of just this one model. And then we start getting into a family, another family, another family. So far we're into like 4 families in a model. Now we're starting to see some children, maternity. There's some wedding, engagement. And then we have some things that looks like we can click. So all of that was just, images, and then we have some slideshows at the bottom. That's a little confusing to me, but not terribly so. I kind of get it what's going on, like just trying to show more. Typically, I like to see things a little more mixed up instead of like all a model for, if I were just, when I first got to this page, I was thinking, okay, well, all this is model work. I had to scroll quite a bit, and if I'm scrolling kind of slow, just trying to look at each picture, I'm like, oh, this is all the same girl. This is all that's featured. And then finally, when I started to see the family, I realized there was more. Okay, let's go ahead and see. At that point, I think, when I get to the bottom here, it doesn't give me any options to do anything. It doesn't even give me a scroll back to the top option. So I have to go back up here, and I guess the next thing I would do is about me. Sorry. Okay. Some things about Dulce here. That all looks good. I like that you have a picture of you and you working, and then a little bit about you and your goal as a photographer. I think these are appropriate things to have on an about page. Let's go ahead and go to investment. 2017 pricing guide. That's good that it's up to date. Session fee. Family, maternity, seniors. Family with an asterisk. Where's the asterisk? Not seeing any kind of corresponding asterisk with that. Maybe this. Maybe you need to put the asterisk here to let them know. Maybe it's all 3 of these things. I'm not sure. Okay. Tells you what they offer. Now this is an image, whereas this was just text. Let's go ahead and go to the next thing. I do kind of like the fact that I'm almost forced to use the navigation, and it makes me want to just kind of go down each one. Each page is simple, so it's easy for me to kind of go to the next thing. This is a lot of text. It's a big wall of text. I want to be able to skim this. I want you to break it up a little bit more, bold the things that are important, use headlines, use photos to break it up, show examples of what you're talking about. I like what you're saying here, just in a really quick skim, but I would like to see it so that I could easily skim it and get the whole idea in a few seconds instead of having to read through it if I didn't want to. Basically, what I have to do when I first land on a page like this is I have to decide whether or not I want to read it. And I decide that by getting an idea of what's on the page. And if I can't skim it, then I can't get that idea and I probably won't read it. And then contact. Okay, easy enough. And then blog. I only have a couple of blog posts right now. Notice that we have a city and a zip code down here. We have a Facebook and an Instagram, but other than that, there's no contact information. No email address, no phone number, no address. Those are things that I would highly consider putting on your contact page. Okay. So a few things that immediately come to mind after looking through everything here. One is that, well, this homepage needs more. I'm assuming you're intending to put more here. Otherwise, you need to give them something to do right here. This really could use something behind it, maybe just like a light white background or something like that. Probably not white on the white, but gray or something that's just really light that will let people see what this says. And then you tell people what you want them to do next. If this is what you want them to do, maybe put like a 1, 2, 3 in front of the menu. You don't have to do that. That's just one option. But I would like you to put the thing that you want them to do right here in this section. Even if that's the only thing else you add to this page, is like read more about me or view my galleries. But if they view the featured work, yeah, I want them to be able to get to the bottom and say, hey, do you want to book a session like this? Check out my pricing. And then when they get to the pricing page, I want them to have the option here, book this kind of session, book this wedding, or get in touch to see if we are available for your wedding date. That could be a button right here, or right here could say contact me to set up your session, something like that. But other than that, I mean, you have a lot of good things going on here too. Let's go ahead and go to the SEO section of the audit. And we're going to go ahead and pull down the Moz bar here. Maybe. It's thinking. Shoot, I'm not logged in. Hang on. I think that's just my free account. That's enough. Okay. So you have Dulce Ruiz photography, but you don't have any kind of keyword here. So page title is one of the most important places for your keyword. SWFL, maybe you say that in Florida, but people are probably not searching for SWFL photographers very often. I would assume that's probably not a very high traffic keyword. Haven't looked it up, but before I would do that, I would just say Florida photographer or something like that. But here you need to do some keyword research and figure out how people are searching. But you want to have your brand and then a colon and then the keyword that you're trying to target primarily. So it could be wedding photographer in Fort Myers or lifestyle photographer in Fort Myers, something similar to that. Should go here. It needs to stay within around 60 to 65 characters to be able to fit in the SERPs. Meta description just needs to be compelling to click. Contacting me to book your session from a search result, that's not compelling to click. Maybe for the contact page, that would be okay. But for this page, if I'm just now seeing it in search results, I don't know if I want to contact you to book a session yet. Tell me what's unique about you you have a lot of good text on your page, on your site, in this what to expect section and in your about section, that kind of that second paragraph. You have great words that you can use that tell people why you do what you do, what you're offering that is unique for them, what they will get out of hiring you. Use those words in your meta description. Try to use your keywords if possible as well. So lifestyle photographer, you've already kind of got that in here. Portrait and lifestyle photographer. Maybe at least use your location or one of your locations one time in your meta description. But other than that, make it something that people are interested in clicking. H1s. Looks like it's just this. And it looks like maybe the logo is being used as an H1 too. That's okay. Trying to see if there's any alt text. Looks like it's just using file names for alt text here. It's got 2 different instances, but it's the same. That may just be a mobile and a desktop version. So you want to try to add, if this is the image that it's showing there, you want to try to add some alt text just to have a little bit of extra text here on your page, which is another thing that I would recommend. Body copy. You need to have some text here on the page somewhere. I think it would be great to, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is like the max that I recommend. 6 is a little more preferred, and 5 is even better. I think you could potentially, I don't want to tell you like to go to a one-page site or anything, but you could potentially put everything on this about page, or at least most of this, here on the home page. I would probably be okay with that. I think you have enough room here to go ahead and get that out of the way. Then you don't even need it in the navigation necessarily. I do kind of like having an about page. I'm torn on that one. I've seen search engines go in a way that having less pages and more scrolling is okay. I don't think you need to worry about, like, I used to think it was important to have more opportunities for pages to rank for individual keywords, but I've seen after looking at tons of search data that that's just not usually how it works. Some pages will do that. So if you have like, if you're really building out intentional silo pages that are for specific types of content, like maybe you do a whole section of your site about Central Florida and a whole section of your site about Southwest Florida, it's very possible that those could rank separately. It's not that your homepage is the only thing that can rank, but usually when it's between like your home, your about, your contact, your investment, like these pages, they're not going to rank well for kind of big keywords separately. What they'll help with though is if someone's searching for your brand, often they'll get site links where these will pop down underneath and let them click directly into the page that they're looking for right out of the search engines. So it's can be nice to have multiple pages, but at the same time, Google has started to pull those site links from sections on your site. So anyway, just thinking out loud here, it could be something that would be interesting. Let's see. So we already talked about title, meta description, headings, body copy, alt text. So I said all of those things, and there wasn't much to say about the home page because there's just not much here right now. It's one of the reasons why I think putting some of that information from the about page would be smart. And then I don't think I would put the investment. You could put some of your featured work though. Maybe put a link to a couple of galleries. And maybe at the bottom of the home page, the thing that you want them to do is go to this what to expect page. And I think you could build out this what to expect page into being like a really cool page that, like I said before, if you break this up and have some headings and have some pictures and like tell it as a story, it looks like you're already doing that. I mean, this could be the page that really sells people. And then that could lead into, you could give them some basic pricing information and say, if you want more, go to the investment page, but then have this really be the page that leads people. Does this sound like an experience that you're interested in having with your family or your loved ones, whatever? Let's go ahead and get something set up for you today. Get in touch. You have a contact form right there on this page, or you send it to the contact page. That's what I would do with your site. I mean, I would have the homepage have enough information where they can get to know you a little bit. So they see this, oh, that sounds good. They come down here, they see your profile picture that's on your about page, and at least one paragraph of text about you, and then they go into potentially a link or a couple of links to galleries if they want to see more, or maybe you just put a slider there with a few images. Don't overdo it on the home page. And then under that you have kind of a call to action for them to go to what to expect. So you could say something like, I'm just trying to think about how you would say this. You could say, are you interested in having a family session but don't know what to expect? Learn what it's like working with Dulce Ruiz photography. Something like that, and that leads them to that what to expect page, and that leads them to the contact page. In other words, just be intentional about getting people to go through your site very specifically. You have the right content, you just need to kind of structure it a little bit better, I think. Okay, so let's see a couple other things here. Speed is really fast. Let's see how it actually gives us, what score it gives us in page speed insights. 56 and 78. It's telling us to optimize images. Saying you could save 264 kilobytes on that one image on the home page, so that might be something worth reducing. Especially if you're going to be adding more content to that home page, you need to optimize those images as much as you can. And then let's go ahead and look at what it might look like on mobile. We'll just use the Chrome inspector. Let's see what this menu looks like. I like that. Nice and clean, really easy. Again, this is hard to read, really hard to read right here on mobile. This looks okay on mobile, like this bar is fine. Back to top button when you've just barely scrolled. Again, I want to see something I can click and go to the next thing here. Then I can figure out I want to go to the menu. So this is one thing you need to figure out. I would try to get this image into regular text. This looks fine. I can read this easily on mobile. When I get to this, I have to like pinch and zoom to even be able to possibly see that. And it's all faded and hard to read. And then on mobile, of course, whenever I get to a contact page, I'd love to have the ability to just tap a button and call you if I wanted to. Don't have a phone number here, so can't do that. You're asking them for their phone number, so you should probably give them yours. I love that picture. Okay, so that's really all that I'm going to cover here in this kind of quick review of your site. If you have more questions, just feel free to let me know, but I think you are on the right track with your website. It's a beautiful site, beautiful work. Looks like you're kind of just getting started with it, and I think that you're definitely on the right track in that case, and I'm excited to see where you go with it. Of course, again, like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know. You can always come over to the Facebook group and ask questions anytime, or just reply on YouTube or anything like that. I'll be happy to get back to you. If anyone else is watching this and wants their website reviewed, just go to fuelyourphotos.com/reviews, and that will put you in the list. Right now I have about 60 people in the list, and I can only do a maximum of like 1 to 2 every day, and because these are free reviews, I'm not getting paid for these. I'm just doing these to try to help people figure out some things, but hopefully you can learn even if it's not your site. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll have more of these coming out. And like I said before, you can always come over to the Facebook group, Feel Your Photos. Just search that on Facebook, join the group, and we have lots of good information about building websites and SEO every day. All right, see y'all again soon.